All right, guys, we are wrapping this up with our last and final sensation, which is taste, otherwise called gestation. Um, Similarly to smell, we need to remember that taste serves both the purpose of enjoyment, right? It's nice to taste good food. We love food. I love food. We'll talk about the motivation for eating in a different unit, and we'll kind of talk about the role that taste plays in that. But it also exists for evolutionary purposes. And the idea is that certain types of food provide us certain things that we need, which we'll talk about. Also, similarly, right, if something smells bad, um, then we probably don't want to eat it. It might not be good for us. It's the same kind of idea. If something tastes bad, then maybe that means that it is bad and we shouldn't eat it. Right? When little babies first start eating foods, right, they typically love fruits and they dislike vegetables. That makes sense because vegetables have a very bitter taste. However, what you have to do is you have to continue to expose them to that same vegetable, right, without salt in it, just the plain vegetable. And they start to learn that it's okay, right? Behaviorism. So I eat this thing and it doesn't taste good, so I don't eat anymore. And I eat it again, and I eat it again, and I eat it again. And after I've eaten it so many times, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've eaten this thing and nothing bad has happened. I then learn, okay, bad taste doesn't necessarily mean that this thing is bad for me. Okay, so with that, let's just kind of look at what our taste does, right? So with taste, obviously, without a doubt, it is your tongue and the taste buds that have it. So if you actually get really, really close, or sometimes like, right, one gets swollen or annoyed for whatever reason, it gets all puffy. So each individual, right, taste bud, and you have over 200 of them on your tongue. Take a gander at them if you want. There's all kinds of different types of taste buds that serve different functions. But each individual taste bud itself has between 50 and 100 taste receptor cells on it. Okay, so each one of those little bumps is 50 to 100 receptor cells. So when you consume the food, right, and it starts to dissolve, that food, the chemical in the food, is going to react with each one of those 500 to 50 to 100 cells that are on each individual taste bud. It's going to trigger a reaction. And then, like every other sense except smell, that information is going to be sent to the thalamus before it goes to the cortex, right? Your auditory cortex, your smell cortex, and your taste cortex are all housed in your temporal lobe, which is right on the side. Similar to your nose, your taste buds do reproduce every few weeks, but that does slow as you age. Okay, with that, I'm going to talk as fast as I can. You've got control of the pause, so if you did not get everything that you wanted, feel free to go ahead and pause it before I get to the last slide, and then just push play when you're done. All right, so with that, what I want you to know is that your tongue, your whole tongue, can taste all things. However, there are regions of your tongue that specialize, right, in certain senses more than the other, or they are more sensitive to it. Those receptors are more accurate. So I would like to say go ahead and draw that tongue on your paper as part of your notes. I did not print one out for you. Right, I figured it was simple enough, right? And go ahead and label, right? Bitter, typically you're going to feel the back of your tongue, sweet at the tip of your tongue, sour on the sides, which is why if you eat something that's really sour, you feel like your whole mouth is like kind of like pinched up. And then salty is a little bit on the tip. Again, every single one of your taste buds can detect all of these. It's just some are more sensitive than others. So you're going to experience certain taste sensations more in one part of your tongue than your other. If you did bring a snack to have today, or just whenever it is the next time that you're eating something, I want you to try to pay attention to if you really can focus on where you might feel that sensation more. I apologize. Or maybe take a Q-tip and stick it in vinegar and touch it on different parts of your tongue and see if you feel it more. Or dissolve water and sugar and do the same thing and kind of see if you notice it. On my diagram, you don't see umami or savory flavor, but that's kind of more evenly distributed throughout your whole tongue. On the first slide, I talked a little bit about evolutionary reasons for eating. So just a few things to think and keep in mind when you talk about taste sensation. So when you think about things that are sweet, right? Things that are sweet that contain sugar, even though it might be short lasted. Sweet things are beneficial because we correlate that with providing us with energy, which is why maybe when you're tired, you might often crave sweet snacks. Whew, again, I'm sorry, maybe I need to eat a sweet snack to provide you with that. When we think about sour, again, that could be potentially toxic. So it might give us a little bit of warning on what we want to think about that. Very similar with bitter, right? It might be poisonous. We want to be cautious with that. Things that are salty. So your body needs salt, right? Excess salt is not good, but your body needs a certain amount of salt to function and form a lot of your physiological processes. Sodium is important for that. So again, maybe if our sodium levels are low, we might seek out some salty snacks to provide that. And then savory type things are typically much higher in protein, which we need to grow and repair our muscle tissue. Okay, with that, that is all I have for you today. Whatever time you've got left today, you can use it to work on terms, to work on your sensation and perception project, to do some reading, get some learning curve done, whatever it is that you think you need to get done to be successful to wrap up the end of this quarter. I'll see you soon.